Welcome to this video lesson on Chapter 1, Capitulum Primum of Lingua Latina per se illustrata. And we are going to look at the picture first. Latin is pictura. Pictura means picture. In pictura est insula. In the picture there is an island. Insula means island. It's related to insulate, isle, and island in English. Those are all derivatives, English words that derive from or come from the Latin word insula. In pictura est oppidum. In the picture is a town. Oppidum is town in Latin. In pictura est fluvius. In the picture is a river. Fluvius is related to fluid and flow in English. All right, and the title of the chapter, titulus est, the title is Imperium Romanum, the Roman Empire. So in Latin, adjectives tend to come after the nouns. This is the case for most languages in the world. English is kind of one of the odd ones out here. Just a few languages like English will put the adjectives before nouns. Most put them after. All right, so Imperium Romanum, Roman Empire. Roma in Italia est. Rome is in Italy. Now notice that the word order actually has it say Rome in Italy is. So you can immediately notice that Latin likes to have verbs at the end of the clause or the end of the sentence. Est means is here. That's our verb. In Italia, prepositional phrase, in Italy. And notice that Italia, unlike what we saw on the map, and you can see directly below there, has a long A in the on the ending. So in Italia, long A. And if you look just below that, you see Italia without the long mark on the A. So the difference is that when Italia is an object of the preposition in, it's in something called the ablative case, and that means that the A has to be lengthened. So watch out for that, and you will see it again in other prepositional phrases as well. So Rome in Italy is, change it around in English, we need to use the word order Rome is in Italy. All right, next sentence. Italia in Europa est. Italy is in Europe. And again here notice the est is at the end. And again here notice that Europa has a long A at the end because it's the object of the preposition in. Next, Graecia in Europa est. Greece is in Europe. All right, same word order, est, the verb for is at the end. Europa with a long A because it's the object of the preposition. And notice they're showing you out in the margin, ah. Okay, so short A, you say it twice as long as the long A. And they show you that the long A is on the end of the word if it comes after in. They also show you in the margin est and sunt. Est we've seen for is, sunt is the plural are. Italia et Graecia in Europa sunt. Italy and Greece are in Europe. Okay, so now we have the plural verb sunt. I will note just briefly that a T ending on a Latin verb means it's a he, she, it singular form, thus est. But if you have nt as you get on sunt, then that makes it a plural they form. So Italy and Greece sunt are in Europe. Hispania quoque in Europa est. Spain also is in Europe. Quoque is a nude word meaning also. Hispania et Italia et Graecia in Europa sunt. Spain and Italy and Greece are in Europe. Now, notice the sunt, just like the est, keeps coming at the end of the sentence. So again, that is the most normal Latin word order. I could put it in the middle because Latin has flexibility. I could say Hispania et Italia et Graecia sunt in Europa. That would mean essentially the same thing too. All right, in line 5, Aegyptus in Europa non est. Egypt is not in Europe. Now, Aegyptus, the Y is the Greek letter Llpsi. Now, Llpsi is, if you want to say it, it's kind of a cross between an I, a short I in English, and a short U in English. So a cross between I and U. and we get I, all right? So Aegyptus. So sometimes it might sound more like an I, sometimes it might sound more like a U to you, but it's really kind of in between. Aegyptus in Europa non est, Aegyptus in Africa est. Egypt, if I follow the word over here, in Europe not is, Egypt in Africa is. Now we have to change the word order because we need it to make sense in English. So if we're translating rather than just reading the Latin, we're going to need to say Egypt is not in Europe, Egypt is in Africa. Gallia non in Africa est. Gallia est in Europa. Gaul is not in Africa, Gaul is in Europe. Syria non est in Europa, sed in Asia. Now, Syria, again, you have the Llpsi, so it's an I in between I and O, in between the short I and the short U in English. Syria non est in Europa, sed in Asia. Syria is not in Europe, but in Asia. Arabia quoque in Asia est. Now in Arabia, you can hear that R that I keep trilling in Latin. So do note that the R in Latin, you want to trill it a bit if you can. And I think most everybody can do that. If you have problems trilling your R's, there are numerous tutorials for that on YouTube, because honestly, the hard R in English is really rare. Most languages around the world actually trill their R's a bit, as Latin does. So again, English is the weird one out. Arabia quoque in Asia est. Arabia is also in Asia. Syria et Arabia in Asia sunt. Syria and Arabia are in Asia. Germania non in Asia, sed in Europa est. Germany is not in Asia, but in Europe. Britannia quoque in Europa est. So Britain also is in Europe. Germania et Britannia sunt in Europa. Germany and Britain are in Europe. Esne Gallia in Europa, is Gaul in Europe? Gallia in Europa est. Gaul is in Europe. Now we get a new word. Notice out in the margin, estne is broken into est and ne. Ne indicates that we have a yes-no question, as the margin tends to indicate there. So est just means is, but the ne on the end of est is telling us, hey, we're going to have a question about, is this the case, okay? So esne Roma, all right, esne Gallia, all of these things. So let's start at the beginning of line 11. Esne Gallia in Europa, is Gaul in Europe. Gallia in Europa est, Gaul is in Europe. Esne Roma in Gallia, is Rome in Gaul. Roma in Gallia non est, Rome is not in Gaul. Now we get a new question word, ubi. Now ubi means where. Ubi est Roma, where is Rome? Roma est in Italia. All right, Rome is in Italy. Ubi est Italia, where is Italy? Italia in Europa est. Now notice here in line 13, Italia, you see both spelled with a short A at the end and with a long A at the end. Let me just give you a second to think if you can remember why that is. Why do we get in Italia, long A, but then we get ubi est Italia, Italia in Europa est, both ending in short A? Hopefully you can remember what we said earlier about in the prepositional phrase in Italia, Italia with a long A it's the object of the preposition, so it has what we call an ablative case ending. So essentially because it's the object of the preposition. Going on in 14, ubi sunt Gallia et Hispania, where are Gaul and Spain? Gallia et Hispania in Europa sunt, Gaul and Spain are in Europe. Esne Nilus in Europa, is the Nile in Europe? Nilus in Europa non est, the Nile is not in Europe. Ubi est Nilus, where is the Nile? Nilus in Africa est, The Nile is in Africa. Rhenus ubi est? The Rhine, where is it? Rhenus est in Germania. The Rhine is in Germany. Rhine is one of the biggest rivers in Europe, by the way. Nilus fluvius est. The Nile is a river. Rhenus fluvius est. The Rhine is a river. Nilus et Rhenus fluvii sunt. The Nile and the Rhine are rivers. Okay? So here we get the us and the e. The us is the masculine singular, and the e, which is a long I pronounce that as e in Latin, is the masculine plural. So there are three genders in Latin. If I look back, let's see, we've got, say, Hispania, Gallia. Those are feminine endings. And if we look down a little bit further here, I'm just pull it up to the top. I, that's the feminine singular and the feminine plural. So the a ending, pronounced is feminine singular. The I ending, right, which is ae in Latin, it's pronounced I, that ending is a feminine plural. Okay, so back to our us e. Us is masculine singular, e is masculine plural. The Nile and the Rhine are rivers, fluvii sunt. Danubius quoque, the Danube also, fluvius est, is a river. Rhenus et Danubius sunt fluvii in Germania. The Rhine and the Danube are rivers, fluvii, notice the masculine plural ending, in Germania, in Germany. Tiberis fluvius in Italia est. The Tiber is a river in Italy. Okay, well that brings us to the end of section 1. I hope you've learned a few things about Latin, maybe pronunciation, vocabulary, maybe where some of these places in the Roman Empire are. Volete omnes. Goodbye, everybody.